The Everything Noob podcast proudly supports the 12 Days of Indie charity live streaming event benefiting Toys for Tots. From December 1st to December 12th, join awesome live streamers as they play their favorite indie titles like Minecraft, Asteria, Insurgency, and so many more. 12 Days of Indie is your chance to discover new indie titles, win prizes, and support Toys for Tots all at the same time. To join in the fun and submit a donation, visit 12daysofindy.com. Let's far surpass our goal of $12,000 and help children everywhere have the Christmas they deserve. Visit 12daysofindy.com now.
Your source for all things gaming this holiday season. Everything Noob starts now.
Hello and welcome to the show. Welcome to the Everything Noob podcast, episode 57. I am Vortact, joined this evening by Dreadlow and our special guest, Jason, one of the people behind Asteria.
Yes.
Excuse me for not knowing. What exactly is your title for them?
I am the community manager of Asteria. That is my official self-given title.
All right. Cool. So, community manager of Asteria, meet the podcast. Podcast people meet the community manager of
Waving.
Asteria.
Sorry, it's a podcast. I'm waving.
Yes. Video podcast isn't seen as much as it's heard in the audio. But tonight we're going to be talking about Asteria, and we got a whole bunch of other things to talk about as well. I'd like to start off by talking about a very interesting story I found that I can actually relate to a little bit. So, and it's not going to sound like it at first, but I'll get to that. It turns out Lindsay Lohan wants to sue Rockstar, apparently. That's the rumor anyway. And it's because of that image at the beginning of the game, and a lot of people have probably seen this when the game was being promoted or if they own it. There's a blonde in a bikini holding an iFruit phone, and that's supposed to be one of the women in the game.
Right.
So Lohan is saying that that's her,
image,
image that they're using, and that's her phone, and that's because, she's the only one that's ever had an iPhone before. So that I thought that was kind of an interesting story there. Thoughts?
I just think that that's stretching it. I mean, she could look like anybody, really. I mean, yeah, in the picture that they show on the IGN website, Lindsay Lohan next to it, I could see there's a resemblance, but that's kind of stretching it, I think. I mean, I could probably find a character in a video game that kind of looks like me, and you know what, I can sue him. It's just, I don't know, kind of a stretch.
You use the Dreadlow likeness in my game.
Yeah, I would actually be happy about it. That'd be cool.
But would you want it in Grand Theft Auto? Think about this for a minute. Do you want to be one of those poor pedestrians that gets run over? I mean,
that would be a mess. But at least I'm not one peddling dope or something on it. You know what I mean?
Why not?
But yeah, I can see. Yeah, why not?
I think she's just poor. I think she just wants money, and she's grasping on anything.
I think so.
They said that there's what? Sorry.
I think that she's getting older and not probably a whole lot of opportunity out there for her. So she's
she's not much fun now that she's sobered up.
No, she should be crashing cars and acting like the character in the game. Instead, she's trying to sue the game for... If anything, she'd have a stronger case if she said, this game is trying to mimic my lifestyle that I patented. Not image, lifestyle.
That's funny. Yeah, that would be more like it. I could see that. But I still, think it's a stretch.
So I'll tell you why this relates to me. I live in Colorado, and I work at a radio station here. And one of the DJs on the radio station found out that the voice of the character in the game that woman actually portrays lives in Greeley. And they show a picture of her, and we'll link it in the show notes if you want to check this out, and you can see what you think. I still don't think this woman looks like Lindsay Lohan or this other woman, but they said they used the voice actress's likeness and put blonde hair on her instead of her natural color, and called it a day. And they have, her name. You can look into this all you want. All I know is what I read, and this was in October that story came out.
Yeah, that was way back in October. and they were talking about it. They even have the same picture and everything. I see a like. There's still, you see again. I mean, there is a likeness there. I see it. If you take Molly here and you put blonde hair on her, I can see it.
I think that she looks like any blonde chick.
Basically, huh?
Is that just me? I
But
think they just took a generic blonde and.
but see, this is interesting because now if she's going to sue, if Lohan's going to sue, this article right here, if it's anywhere else, or even if they were to somehow find this, they can see this was back in October 10th, and they're actually talking about the girls whose voice is in it and how they used her likeness right there. Slam dunk, she'd lose the case.
Well, they could check the credits. And
Yeah, or
go
even
from
the
there.
credits in the game, sure.
I
And
think
then they
fighting over your likeness in cartoon form isn't fair. I don't think you're going to get very far. But
Well, we read
yeah.
about this. We read about something similar months ago, or last month, when Ellen Page had the same issue with Two Souls or something like that. I don't know. It's a PlayStation game.
who's
But
that now?
Ellen Page, she played Juno.
Oh, okay.
She had a same thing. She was trying to sue the game for using her likeness. I want to say it was like Beyond Two Souls or something like that. But yeah,
I think that's a game.
like I said, it's on a PlayStation, so
I'm the person who runs a gaming podcast and doesn't keep up with all the video games out there. That's until they.
Well, there's so many dark this and souls that it's hard to find. I mean, there's hundreds of games with those names.
So this is a thing, though. People are suing game companies.
For their
your
likeness in them.
your
I
animated
think
character looks like me.
it's funny because she's suing them, right? Not her producers or anything like that. It's
Yeah,
her.
it's all speculation. I mean, nothing might be happening in the first place.
Yeah. Oh, rumors. Okay, it's still in the rumor phase. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm interested.
Last of Us. Thank you, Jims. Yeah, it's The Last of Us is the game.
Ah,
Okay,
there we go.
that makes a little more sense now. That game looked good. I'm a PlayStation owner that never got The Last of Us, and I haven't heard the end of it, but I wanted to. It's a good game. So
I don't know. I'd be thrilled if I was actually the main person. I guess she would want. I could see Lindsay Lohan suing maybe for if it was actually her image and they were using it without telling her. She would want some kind of monetary compensation for that, some kind of residual income from the game sales or something, right? But yeah, I could see that. I can see that. But for her suing them just because it's there, that's weird. But
it's going to be a tough case if it even goes anywhere. Again, just
yeah.
a rumor, and I think sometimes media just has to make something up because they're bored.
Right.
Yeah, and they got to use Lindsay Lohan because she's exciting, right?
Well, she was. Now she's sober. I'm making quotes if you can't see that. I don't buy it for a second.
That's funny.
So it's Cyber Monday. You guys see any deals? I saw a whole bunch, but I haven't bought anything.
Oh, my emails were going nuts because of all the things I guess I've been subscribed to, and there's even some places I don't even remember being subscribed to all of a sudden emailing me about cyber sales that they're having. So yeah, GameStop, and places like that also. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff out there right now.
A lot of games are on sale.
Steam is having sales throughout until what, January?
Oh my gosh, they're doing an autumn sale right now, and I'm hoping that they're still going to do a winter sale. I don't see why they wouldn't, but they've never done an autumn sale before.
Right.
So,
Yeah, because it's always been like in the summer or spring or something. But yeah, this is some good times with the different kinds of games out there, and
yeah.
so I'm looking forward to that.
I saw the deals on Amazon. The front page ones were the only ones that looked really, really catching, but for the most part, It's just games and stuff. I'm looking for the consoles to go on sale. Not that I'm sure PS4 and Xbox One won't, but the Wii U is what I've been keeping my eye out for.
Oh, Wii U, yeah,
Oh yeah.
true. That you would think that would go on sale. They definitely want to sell those consoles and try to beat out Xbox and PlayStation, but
So Jason, do
we
you
never know.
are you strictly PC games? Are you console person? Or?
I am an Xbox fan. I have a 360 still. I'm waiting to get some money to buy the Xbox One. We have one here for us to use at Legend Studios that we've had a load of fun with already.
Nice.
Nothing makes you feel more out of shape than Dance Dance Revolution or whatever.
I've been hearing mixed reviews on both of the consoles, but what do you think about the little war that's going on between the two? I mean, do you prefer? Is it because you're part of Xbox because you're part of their membership and all that stuff, or is this preference that you want Xbox One?
It's a preference. I don't really have anything against PlayStation. I still have my PS1 from back in the day. Never got a PS2 or never got a PS2 or a PS3. Have no intention of buying the PS4. I think what really sold the Xbox to me was we were part of the Independent Developer Conference up at Microsoft 2 or 3 weeks ago. So we got 3 days with the Xbox One before launch, and when you're there with the creators and you're doing seminars on what the Xbox can do and is capable of, you're kind of sold on it when you're given the perfect pitch.
Yeah, true.
So
That's true.
I think the war. Sorry. As for the war, I think the war is all in the players' heads. I think PlayStation players want to be more relevant than they actually are, but the choice really comes down to what games do you want to play.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been hearing on both sides that as far as the hardware is concerned, they're pretty similar. They're pretty close to similar. And,
they are.
You can't really go wrong with either one. And the PS4 can do basically the same stuff. It may not be like something that's the selling point for the PS4 like it is with the Xbox One. Like for instance, the TV, the being able to do different things. You can still do that on a PS4, but it's not really a selling point for them. But yeah, I mean, it's just I think it's going to be an even thing. And I talked about the social medias and stuff and how it's different than it was before when Xbox 360 came out, the PS3 came out. There wasn't that kind of social media that we have today. So there wasn't a whole lot of people, going off on each other.
I'm reading the chat here. Jem's sister, yes, Dead Rising 3. I am losing sleep on that game.
Oh, so you do have it. I was going to ask that.
Oh, you got it.
It is phenomenal.
I want to kill someone and not a zombie because I got Dead Rising 2. I want to kill zombies. That's why I want to kill someone, though, because I can't. I got Dead Rising 2 on PC because I had never played it. And again, like my PC has been doing for months now, it just won't work. It's just another one of those games I got that will not work.
Well, we haven't tried it yet, but at one point in the time in Dead Rising 3, spoiler alert for your listeners,
and me,
you find a cell phone, in the game, and you have to talk to the guy on it, but he can't hear you because the phone is broken or whatnot. We were told, but we haven't tried it, that you're able to connect your smart glass. If your smart glass app is hooked up while you're doing it, the game will ring your smart glass device. So it'll ring your iPad or your cell phone if you've got it on your whatever, instead of the game, to draw you into the game. And every time we get to that point, we're just so caught up in, oh my gosh, I gotta build the next thing or whatever, that we forget to turn on our smart glass to try it out. So
oh wow!
Eventually, we'll calm down enough to get to that. So
that's cool. I like that's what I like about the new consoles. They really took a leap and started adding more technology to them. What's interesting what you were saying before about one of you were saying it. I'm here, I swear. One of you were talking about the Xbox. I think it was Dreadlow talking about how it was it had all these TV features. I've been talking to a lot of friends who are either on both sides or one or the other, and what I've noticed it comes down to is, do you want a system that just plays games mostly, or do you want a system that does a little bit of both? And Xbox really focuses on the TV and stuff. And my friend was saying, I don't have cable, I don't really care about TV. I want, a gaming console,
Games.
and
Pick
PS4
me,
is
pick me,
cheaper.
pick me.
Go for it.
When I went up to the independent developer conference, I took all of the complaints that the PlayStation people have up there with those in mind. And one of the things that a lot of people argued is like, well, who wants an X? I want my Xbox to be a gaming console and not do all this other stuff. And after spending the weekend with the Xbox One, I'm like, why would you not want the Xbox to do it? Like, the applications and availability. I mean, just to be able to instantly switch over to a game on the commercial breaks and have a PIP of whatever show you're watching so that you don't miss it. It just seamlessly is just.
No, that's a cool
It was neat, yeah.
I think having it there is awesome, but if you don't want it, but you still want an Xbox, just don't use it.
Exactly.
Simple as that. My friend's point, one of them was, I'm just gonna save $100, get the PlayStation, and skip all the other stuff the Xbox has.
Yeah, no, I get that. But have you seen the new apps that are coming out for the PlayStation 4 that are going to use the camera? They got some really neat camera stuff, and then you're shelling out the $100 for the
just
camera
to buy
anyway.
the camera. So
yeah.
and then they end up being the same price.
Yeah.
And I know personally, I probably will end up getting the PlayStation with the camera if I do get the PlayStation. I've said from the beginning I don't want an Xbox One because of all the restrictions. Then they backpedaled and backpedaled and backpedaled and backpedaled.
Right.
And I'm so hell-bent on not getting one that I still haven't even paid attention to it. I think eventually I'll end up with it, but the first thing I get, if I get one of the two, is going to be the PlayStation. I've decided that already. I just know that. But eventually, when the systems get older and they start to drop in price, I might look into it. Because I ended up with both. I got the Xbox 360 first, and I'm like, the PS3, and then I started wanting a Blu-ray player, and at the time it was the
Right.
best thing. So I got that, and then I started to like it just as much as the Xbox.
Well, the thing that impressed me the most on the Xbox was the new Kinect camera. A lot of the exercise games on it, it will actually, if you stand still long enough, it'll detect your heart rate.
Wow.
And the reason that intrigues us as a studio is, envision a game that keeps throwing zombies. We'll use zombies, for example, right? With the Kinect running, and it doesn't stop until the Kinect detects that your heart rate is actually pulsing.
Wow.
Imagine the
Wow.
difficulty of the game based on how stressed out you actually are in game. Every game difficulty, no matter what level you're on, would be catered to each and every individual player. That is something that is very, very possible. The how to program it is too mind-boggling for me right now.
Yeah, that is so cool because I've never. That's why I like having developers on the show and stuff. I've never thought of it that
Oh,
way.
yeah.
I mean, imagine if you're playing Halo and it just keeps throwing guys at you until the Kinect realizes you're freaking out trying to kill everything, and then it decides to stop. Let's let them deal with this.
It
That would
puts
just be like, oh.
it puts a local medical team like on alert, like, okay, just in case this guy might have a heart attack. Our game's pretty intense.
All the parents would go out and buy it for their fat kids that minute.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I also like the exercise games and stuff that are coming out because that's the one thing the parents have always complained about. Well, my kids don't get exercise, and I know that playing the Wii isn't the best form of exercise, but it's more movement than they were getting before.
Right.
So I mean, I support it all the way, and the Wii Fit was actually pretty cool as much as it didn't get the popularity I think it deserved. It had an exercise regimen in it, and it made it fun in a way. So more stuff like that is what I'm kind of looking forward to. Future of console gaming, and I've switched in the past couple of years to PC, almost to the point where I'm like, I don't really want a console, but I know there's going to be console games I want, so I'm still going to get it. But the indie scene has captured my attention like crazy right now. That's kind of where I'm at. Like I love seeing all the craziness and all the. There's either games that are very inexpensive and just as fun as the big titles, or they're free and just as fun as the big titles.
And that's something we're really enjoying about all three systems, Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft, is they've all three of them have got some wonderful support for independent developers for their various platforms. Sony and not Sony, Microsoft and Nintendo have already shelled out for the Unity 3D. So any of the Unity developers can just as easily publish to the Wii U and the Xbox. And I think Sony's going to eventually do it if they haven't done it already.
Oh, wow.
But give it another 6 to 8 months, you're going to start seeing the same indie scene that you see on Steam and whatnot. You're going to start seeing that community transfer over to the consoles here real quick.
I'm looking forward to that. And it's funny, speaking of communities, I've noticed there's a lot of, I don't want to say problems, but there's a lot of drama surrounding the Twitch community that spawned from PlayStation 4. And that makes me laugh. I have to laugh at that because just like the indie community coming over, you're capturing a way different audience than the PC gamer. And you have people like, for example, doing strip teases and stuff on Twitch.
Right.
And that's like the only rule Twitch has is like keep your clothes on.
Right.
and then people are doing this, and now Twitch is probably pulling their hair out of their heads like, damn it, come on. They're hiring, I bet anyway, they're probably hiring new staff. And
I know, I can't figure out where to apply for that job. I really can't.
Is that really the job you want when most of the gamers are male?
Yeah, nothing's happening here. I'll pass it along.
I'm just saying, but it's still awesome community coming to consoles, which is good because
what about
the one thing they're lacking.
You sent a link regarding the white Xbox One.
Oh yeah,
Figured this would be a good time to bring that up.
Yeah, I saw that their Xbox is already toying with that, and the reason I brought it up was because it was. I usually see the new color of the console come out a year later. So I was just thinking, wow, that's pretty quick.
Well, it's reserved for Microsoft employees only.
For now.
For now. And let's say Microsoft has not specified whether the white Xbox One will be available to consumers in the future, although a charity auction for the item attracted donations $11,300. So someone to pay $11,000 for it.
Now, don't you think they should just release it all at once? I mean, just give people the option. Apple did that for a while.
Yeah,
too,
because
the white
everybody's
iPhone.
already bought one, right?
Yeah.
So now all of a sudden they're going to come out with a white one. They're going to go, oh, man, I wanted the white one. So,
I
yeah,
know people who will buy the white one, too, even though they have the black Xbox already. They'll buy both. Waste of money, in my opinion, but unless you have like you guys have with a big team of people sharing them.
Well, what we found is, and this is why it doesn't bother me, is the microphone is in the Kinect device, and so unless you're needing access to put the disc in, you can actually have the Xbox completely out of sight, and just have the camera out there, and you never need to actually access the device unless you're buying the discs to put in the game. So, who cares what color it is when you've got it behind a cupboard or behind the TV?
What's funny is that picture displays a black camera. So you're still going to end up, if you have it set up like that, with a black camera on a mantle. I have the new white Xbox, check it out. You're pulling books out and moving stuff around.
She's not a mod in the channel. She doesn't have the little icon next to her.
Maybe I'll give her that.
Well, wait a minute. All her messages were deleted. Why were they deleted?
I added a bot, and it detected. She's the only one chatting right now, so it detected her messages as spam.
Yeah.
You gotta be kidding.
Yeah, if you make her a mod, it'll probably let her get around that.
Yeah,
that's funny. I was wondering what that was. I'm all going. They're not links. I don't understand why it's deleting all her messages.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway,
So,
I just wanted to bring that up because I think she was kind of struggling there. But
Overall, it's a big war that I think is just going to be a wash in the end, just like it was. I think for a while one is going to be dominant because that's how it usually works. For a while, Xbox 360 was dominant; it was in most households, and I predicted that PlayStation. I mean, this is a while ago, so I'm still kind of scoping out and seeing what's winning. But I predicted that PlayStation would have that dominant period this time around. But in the end,
yeah,
each system's going to have exclusive games that eventually people are going to go, oh, I got to have this. For me, it's Kingdom Hearts on the PlayStation. I think for a lot of people, it's going to be Halo 5 when it comes out on Xbox.
You know, Kingdom Hearts is a release title on the Xbox,
Oh yeah, they changed that now, didn't they?
so
Yeah. So
you'll see that on both.
even with my desire to play it, I could play it on either system. But before, it was only a PlayStation title, and that drove me nuts. I'm angry that we had to wait a whole console generation to get another one because I played the second. And I almost bought all the handheld ones, but then I didn't have the handheld systems, and that was a whole nother thing. But anyway, let's move on. We got a lot to talk about. Starting with you're here. We got to talk about Asteria. We have
Yay!
we don't want to waste your time. Yes. I personally played the crap out of it, and I wrote down a bunch of things I wanted to bring up. But first, I'm gonna let Dreadlow take a stab. I know he had some different questions from what I have here.
well, not really questions, just observations. I think I was watching. I was telling him I was watching a video, or actually, it was a 3-part video with him and
Gamer husband with kids.
there it is. Okay, there it is. Gamer husband with kids, and I was watching the video. I hadn't bought the game yet. I was going to do that today, actually, and just watching, and the first thing you think is Terraria, and I think that this game gets that. But if you watch the videos, you will see that it visually at first glance it looks like Terraria, but there's so many different things and different aspects to the game that are so much unlike Terraria that you can almost the new things outweigh the similarities. So I'm fired up about the game. There's some things that like for instance the progression. I'm really big on progression. I don't like to sit there and go, okay, I'm in a world, now I got to mine some stuff and do this, build a house, whatever. Go fight some creatures, go a little further off the screen, I might be able to find a boss somewhere or whatever. But then there's really no point to it because it doesn't really progress you anywhere. Nothing really happens. You might get a special weapon or something. You go deeper in the ground, you might get some other things. But this is so cool because you have to progress. You have to go down. You can only go down so far. You go through a portal. You defeat a boss. Once you defeat the boss, then you find another portal, and so forth and so on. And it gets you further and further through the game, where you get better items, whatever, better ores, better things to craft with, and eventually, end game is you get full access to the game, developing-wise. You can go in there and make your own maps, put your own objects in there, whatever you want. So I think that's an awesome sell right there. So.
Well, one thing, with us as independent developers is we're able to play games and love them and enjoy them. And we get to sit there, and everybody sat there and played games and said, man, if I could only do this, or if I could only do that, or I would love it if we could just do this. Well, as an independent developer, we think, let's do it. Eventually, when you get enough of those collective ideas together, you've got enough to build a game. And so we built a game that we have absolutely fallen in love with. We have everything that we've disliked or we wish that Terraria had. I'm not knocking Terraria. We love Terraria. We still play that. And then we made a game, and we thought to ourselves, we cannot be the only ones who feel this way. So now we're sharing that.
Yeah. And here's the thing. Here's the neat thing is Terraria is kind of like, I don't know if you want to set an age to it, like more modern, maybe, I don't want to say medieval times or anything like that, but it's a modern type area, whereas Asteria is like kind of.
Oh, Terraria is primitive, where Asteria
Yeah,
is not.
primitive.
Yeah,
There you go. That's the word.
Terraria is a fantasy RPG.
Yeah.
I mean, when you look at it, that's what it comes down to.
Yeah, and then with this game, it's more space, more. What am I trying to say? Science fiction. There you go, science fiction.
Yes.
So that makes it a lot more interesting there for me. I like science fiction stuff, so there's not a whole lot out there, except for we're talking about what was that game you were playing where they're releasing it in stages?
Star
Oh,
Citizen.
Starbound comes out.
Yeah.
Starbound hits us this week, and they're doing beta stages as well.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay, yeah. So
So-
there's a few things coming out that are science fiction, so that's cool. But it's definitely a good change of pace here.
So 2D side scroller, very similar to Terraria. You can build, you can mine, but mostly with guns and different kind of futuristic weaponry and stuff like that, rather than a pickaxe and a sword, like we're
Oh
used
yeah,
to saying.
and that's another thing. The mining is like incredible in this.
So
It's not like just picking at a block. I mean, you're just spraying. Basically you're I don't know, what do you call it, a mining gun?
We call them mining lasers.
Yeah,
That's what
mining
they are.
laser.
little handheld, yeah. Sometimes I get confused and I'm trying to shoot enemies with it, and they're just still attacking me, and I get scared and run away.
Yeah.
Where's my gun? I had a couple questions about the progression. You keep talking. Dreadlock keeps talking about progression, partially for myself and also for anyone out there who might be interested in getting the game. How does it progress? Like when you first jump in and you start crafting, you get your workbench, you get a furnace, and it starts to feel like Terraria. Like, okay, now what do I do? Do I just build? What is this? What are the steps people kind of have to take to get to that end point?
Usually, we've given you access to level 1. You go into level 1 and you realize that you don't have enough gear to do it, although we have been proven wrong on that point. Somebody went in there and wiped it on his first go. No upgraded gear or anything. And then you go out and you start to build. Unlike some of the other games in that style, you're only going to be able to dig so far. The mining laser that you start out with cuts you off at a certain point. All right, so you're actually forced into progression. So you'll go out and you'll build a better suit of armor. You'll build a better blaster. You'll get yourself some energy cells to regenerate your health, and you'll go back in and you'll complete level 1. At some point in time, you're going to be forced to deal with level 1, and your progression in the game will actually stop. You do not physically have the ability to go into the game and build the level 5, level 6 equipment and then say, okay, now I want to go back and deal with the boss. No, you're going to hit a ceiling as to how far ahead of the current level that you can get before you can progress onwards.
Okay. So is there? I guess there would be like one boss fight in the one level.
Yeah, there are 9 handcrafted dungeons, each with their own boss. 2 of them have mini bosses.
Okay.
Oh, I do have a question.
Yes.
Fire away.
One of the things that I don't think was mentioned in the videos, or maybe it was and I didn't catch it, but is the world procedurally generated, or is it a fixed static world that is created by you guys?
The overworld is procedurally generated.
Ah,
It
okay.
is randomly generated when you start a new game. It is procedurally generated. We've got all the mechanics that you would see in that. The dungeons, most of them are randomly placed, so you'll have to go find them. But once you're in the dungeons, those levels are fixed.
Okay.
Gotcha.
So regardless of who's playing, when you're playing, everybody's level 1 is going to be the same. Everybody's level 2 is going to be the same. You know, if you're playing and your friend in Russia's playing and your friend in Japan is playing, and you're all on level 3, it's going to be the same no matter where you go.
Ah.
Okay.
Well, that's pretty much like most games.
So
Right.
that
Yeah.
gives you guys more control over how the level's going to play out, rather than the randomness of a game, say Minecraft, where it randomly generates, and you could get a seed that has the perfect vantage points to kill some
Right.
of the baddies that are in that
Or
game.
and the other reason we did that is you take a look at Terraria. When you go to fight the monsters in Terraria, you're allowed to build the platform or battlefield for example, of where you're going to fight the monster in some of the cases.
Yeah.
We've eliminated that. You're going to fight the bosses the way we've designed it for you. Some people don't like that, but you got to look at it from our perspective. We've taken the time to create a challenge for you as a player.
Exactly.
So
Right.
we want to give you the sense of a reward for accomplishment rather than picking where the battle's going to fight and how to do it.
And then hoping it's
Yeah.
challenging.
Right, right.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I like that actually.
Yeah.
I wouldn't complain about that at all. So I have a bunch of things that I was playing it and thought of, and I wanted to start by saying like the things I love that I found unique about the game. For one, the crafting system, which we have seen before, but I like that the items have like a list of things they're used for. That I found to be really helpful because a lot of times in games you'll get an item and you're like, okay, I know I can craft something with this. I don't know what I can use it for, and you can't determine, is this junk or is it something I can use, frequently.
Yeah.
The reason we designed it that way is one thing we hated about any of those games was tabbing out to go to a wiki to look something up.
Yeah.
Okay, or if you're playing like Minecraft, for example, on a console, your console generally isn't in the same room as your computer. It's in the living room or wherever, and so we don't want to go into the other room. So we made the crafting system as simplified as possible, so that you don't need to go to a wiki to do it. We will eventually see a wiki for our game. It is inevitable, but if you can use that gray matter that's inside your head, you don't need to go to the wiki for it. That's something that we felt is missing in a lot of the games, and that's why we put that in.
Okay, nice.
Good.
So the next thing I wrote down is I love the fact that air supply runs out in caves if you dig the wrong way, which was one of those features that I feel like should have been in games like Minecraft and Terraria and stuff like a long time ago. You're always cave diving, going into places where you should be suffocating, and you're fine.
Yeah.
So,
And yes, you do.
did we lose you?
No, I'm here.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, sorry, I just was waiting for your
No,
period in your sentence there.
I was looking at your face in the corner froze for a second. I'm like, I wonder if. So, yeah, I was gonna say that was the one thing I love, and I love how there's like a little fog, kind of indicating, hey, there's no air here. Don't be dumb. So what?
Yeah.
Do you know what inspired that?
That is a question for the lead dev. I'm sorry, I don't have an answer for it. You needed to have that sense of mining in the game. Other games have done it. I'm going to mention some other games here, like Edge of Space, for example. They're about the same point we are. They're about ready to release multiplayer, even though we've already got it. They've got a system where if you go too far down and you don't have the right material on, it crushes you. I'm not sure. I can't remember if Terraria had drowning or not. But we thought it was, crazy to have, I'm just going to go swim in the water and mine down here and be underwater for 3 hours or whatever. But since we took the time to make the gas mechanics, we thought, how could we implement that into other aspects? And the smoke was the easiest one to come up. If you're mining up in Asteria, the smoke is going to collect and it's going to suffocate you. So you need to plan to have vents or plan to take breaths of air and go in and out in mining. For those that don't like to do it, we've still provided air tanks. You can make an air tank accessory to extend your air supply.
Okay, that was one of my
awesome.
questions. All right.
Hope that answers your question.
Yeah. No, I just thought it was such a cool feature. There was a few things I wrote down that I was kind of I wrote them as things I would change, but more or less they're just questions I have as to why things are the way they are. One thing was a little more technical, and I don't think anyone's really going to care that much. For me, as someone who streams a lot, this would be something I would like to see. Is there a specific reason why the 1280 by 720 resolution isn't an option for windowed mode?
I don't have an answer for that. I don't know.
All right.
We tried to accommodate a variety of different possibilities. Sorry, I don't have any more for that.
No, it's okay. I think because the resolution for me, and a lot of people just get around it. I've streamed with the game with the resolutions it provides, and I can get around it just fine. But it leaves those black bars, and that's just a pet peeve.
Well,
It drives me
you
nuts.
know there's multiple pages of resolutions, right? You did.
I went. I know you can scroll left and right, and you
Okay.
can select windowed mode.
Yeah, there's more options. No, there's more options than in the resolutions. Like most of them are supported.
Okay. I'll have to dig deeper. Maybe I could have missed it too. But that was one thing I wrote down because it was for people making videos that they might rely on that. I don't know. That's how I do it, and
Right.
everyone
I
has
just
their own way of making videos and streaming it.
Yeah, I always do things like full screen, and then because my screen is 1366 by whatever, then when I do a video, when I go to editing, I edit it down to 1280 by 720. But I don't know how good that is, but
Yeah.
maybe I
I
should be doing it at the resolution that the game is at. But
Yeah. No. If you go into the settings, um, is my camera freaking out? It looks like it. If you go into the settings on Asteria, and go to the screen resolution, there's a next and previous button. There's multiple pages of different screen resolutions. So be sure to check all of them. Make sure that you find the one that best suits you.
all right.
Maybe you missed that. I don't know.
I could have very very possible. The maybe it's because I was playing in windowed mode, but the tooltips on the items, like I was talking about before, how they have all the lists of the things that they go into.
Right.
They were getting cut off on the edge. Was that a windowed problem? Was that just a bug?
That is a problem that has been brought up, and it is something that is on the list to be addressed. It does happen in windowed mode.
Okay.
That we're working on that
But-
one. We're aware of it.
Yes. I'm pointing out bugs now. Now I just feel bad. It's a genuine question. I was wondering if it's more designed for full screen or not.
well,
But-
that is a good question to ask. Is this now? Is this an alpha, beta, or is this already
No,
completed?
we're full release.
Full release? Okay.
Okay.
We were in alpha for the longest time. We were getting ready to go to beta, and we realized we were only missing like 15 things. So we just beat our artist up, and then we went straight from alpha into full release. Now the
okay.
game's not perfect, but most of the updates that we have aren't going to affect the existing games.
Okay.
When we were in alpha, whenever we made a change, players got to keep their existing characters and all their stuff, but they had to constantly restart and regenerate new worlds and maps. Which, as you can imagine, if you've got a nice base or an extensive tunneling system, you don't want to get rid of that. So
Right.
when we went live, we made sure that not any of the, if we do a change that requires you to create a world, it's because it's been a game-changing exploit. But
Yeah, right.
most of the stuff that we're tweaking now are recipe components, the way certain things function. Like one of the portal seekers we found out was buggy and wasn't taking people to the right portal. These are things that no matter what world you're generated in, it isn't going to affect. And so that's the point that we wanted to hit. Is we're going to make changes. We're still improving the game. We're coming out with a bunch of different things, but they're not going to affect anybody's maps.
Yeah, you're just gonna have your basic patches once in a while.
Right.
Yeah, well, that's good though. At least you know.
So-
That's a lot of people when they at least back in the day, you know, when a game was made, you know, that was it. It was made. You didn't get any updates,
Right.
patches, or anything like that. Now I notice a lot of games are starting to, you know, rely on some of those patches and stuff. Not only fix bugs, but add content. You know, so.
I
That's
love the attention to that what do you call it? Oh, did it? I gotta op you. Sorry about that.
No, you're
I-
fine. Go ahead and relink it there.
I love the attention to that. What you mentioned before about what do you call it? The world generation in an update affecting, the map. That's something that Minecraft to this day still struggles with. On full release, it's been out for years now, and every time they change something with the terrain, it causes all kinds of problems for players, and players have to take, not only do they have to make a new world, they lose all their stuff. And as a Minecraft server host, that drives me
Oh
nuts.
yeah. Yep.
All my players scatter because they're like, well, they're going to end up making a new map. I'm just going to not play for a while. And that's something that a lot of people can't stand about Minecraft and stuff. So I love that, that the updates aren't going to affect that. That's really cool to know.
Yeah. Next release, they're gonna add 4 more biomes. No, I'm just kidding.
Don't do that to me.
The look on your face was like, what?
What? I was gonna ask if this might already be in the game. I haven't played it enough to find out. Are there jetpacks, or will there be jetpacks?
There are not jetpacks in the game. We don't feel the need to make jetpacks. We've discussed it at length. It's still on our list of something that we might put in. But because of the building mechanic and the way the placement goes, you can make platforms and you don't ever have to take fall damage from a jetpack. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that aside, we have open sourced the code. If you know C#, you can get the source code, and players are more than welcome to create the jetpack item for their own games.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's not something that's going to be an issue. Our long-term dream is to have players with access to the C# skills create these items, and if we get enough likes on them, we'll just throw them in the game. I mean, there's not a whole lot of games that allow player-created content to be made a part of the main game. It's a dream. We'll see if we get there.
Well, that's one of the things that that I don't think we brought up yet, is the fact that it is moddable. I mean, we can make mods for this game. So.
Well, let me answer Jem's question here.
Okay.
Jem, when you finish the game, you get an item that you can put into your inventory that unlocks all of the development tools to create levels and everything like that. Not gonna lie, those are the same tools that we created and used to create every single level in Asteria.
That's really cool.
That is available to every player who beats the game. We already have a system in-game where you can instantly share levels. You don't have to download them. So, like, let's say I'm playing with Vortak and Lido, and I've created this level. I'll go into the game, I'll summon them to the level, right? If they like the level, all they got to do is type in the command, bam, the map is instantly saved to their computer. And they can access it after they've logged out at any time. We've got an in-game file sharing system for level and user-created content. So, do we need to make a secret level with a hidden jetpack in it? No. Players are going to have the ability to do that the minute they beat the game.
That's awesome.
That is really, really cool.
That is.
That's something you don't see a lot. I saw that in one other game. Now I'm struggling to remember the name of it. It's on PlayStation, really popular. You're a little sack guy, and you build the level.
Oh, Little Big Planet.
Thank you. Yes, I played the hell out of that game, and that was one thing I loved about it, was they took everything they made the levels with and gave it to you. And you could, as you played through the game, you unlocked more and more of those things, and you could recreate whatever it was that you were playing the story mode in. And that's something you do not see a lot. That's really cool.
No,
that's true.
We want the community to fall in love with our game. Those that do, there's plenty of rewards, because it's not just, like a lot of guys play Minecraft and they don't get the opportunity to share their projects or what they're doing. We're creating an environment that supports that. We want you to create levels. We want you to code. We want you to create items. We want you to share maps. We want to see how masochistic you are and demented you are in torturing your friends and creating impossible levels.
The one thing I noticed, speaking of impossible levels, when I was playing, is that there's not a whole lot of entrances to caves. Is that something that my level just didn't generate very well, or was that like a challenge you guys added? You wanted me to dig and find the cave?
Our cave system is, you're talking about the random caves?
Yeah.
Our cave system is very, very generic. We have had suggestions from several of our players and followers to randomly generate more complex cave systems. We do have that on the list. We have other things that we're addressing first, so we may get around to it. Again, we'd really like to see one of our coders have access to that and see where they take it.
All right. I'm going to interrupt us real quick. I wanted to read this once again just to remind everyone, and we'll get back into talking about Asteria here in a second. I want to remind everyone that this podcast proudly supports the 12 Days of Indie charity live streaming event that's going on right now. 12 solid days from December 1st to December 2nd of nonstop gameplay, all indie games, and it all benefits Toys for Tots. And there's going to be a handful, I think there's about 19 or 20 different live streamers participating in this event. It's all put together by Ambush Gamer and Beetle Bear, thank you. Beetle Bear. They put this whole thing together, and you can go to 12daysofindie.com to get more information. And like I said, supporting Toys for Tots, their goal is to raise $12,000, and you can help a child somewhere have an amazing Christmas.
Awesome.
And they've already, last time I checked, they've already reached about $3,000 of their goal.
Right. The goal is to hit 12,000. It's very ambitious.
Yes.
But I think they just broke the 3K or the 4K mark. Yeah.
They're way ahead of schedule because it's only been going on for about 24 hours as of right now.
Wow.
And they're going for $1,000 a day, and they've already gotten $3,000 today. You know.
Now, once it gets to $12,000, is it cap?
No.
They're going to keep going. This is the first year. We want to see where we can get to. They want to see where they can get to, so that they can set the bar more appropriately next year. And
Right.
Something that's not mentioned that I'm willing to shell out here is if you're a broke, starving college student gamer, they have tons of giveaways. Lots and lots of developers have come through and have given them copies of their games. Today alone, I saw copies of Terraria being given out. And all you got to do is log on to these streams, donate some money, and wait around, and they'll do the drawing. And yeah, so if you want free games and you want to see some really cool games, log on.
Yes, 12daysofindie.com,
That's awesome.
support indie games and Toys for Tots all at the same time. Awesome cause. Really great way to bring two excellent, amazing communities of people together. So that is what I wanted to share with everyone. But yes, so I did have a couple more questions about Asteria. When you're mining in the game, and this is probably just me being dumb because it looks like you guys meant for this to work differently. There's like a wall. So it kind of like Terraria, you dig, and behind the dirt is like a dirt wall that you walk past. I can't seem to get in there and mine that. Is that something you kind of unlock and start doing?
There is an item in game. Well, first of all, when mining and placing, you can hold down the shift key to place materials in the background.
Background. Okay, there we go.
So
I didn't know that.
for all you pixel art fanatics out there, you can hold down shift and you can put up be in the background so that people don't come along and mine it.
Nice.
There is an item in game called the dematerializer. You can make it from the starting tier. It's linked directly to whatever your existing mining laser is, and it allows you to mine those individual pixels. The small, so for those that have played the game, you know that when you're mining, it's ranged, and sometimes you miss that one little brick that prevents you from moving. The dematerializer will pick out that one specific item. The dematerializer, when you hold down the shift key, will pick out the items in the background.
Okay, so that does exist.
Awesome.
That was something I was very curious about. And my last question was, and again, this could be another thing I missed because I seem to have missed a lot. Can you or will you be able to change the size of the map you spawn in, like Terraria?
You are not able to that's an up and a down question. You are not able to change the size of the map that you are currently in. You will have complete control to set the size limit of the map that you create for your own levels with the developer tools.
See, rewards.
Okay.
Rewards.
So we've got the overworld set at the largest distance. I don't know what that number is off the top of my head because the thing is huge. But when you create your own maps, you can make a smaller level that is to create a smaller compact file size for whatever you need. So no, you're not able to change the one that you're on, but you will be able to create levels of your own size.
All right.
Hi, Jack.
That makes sense. Jackson's chat.
This is my internet debut.
Yes,
There.
he's making
The
the
world has now
debut.
seen my face.
One of the things I wanted to mention is something we haven't brought up yet, is the fact that, again, people kind of refer this as similar to Terraria. But one of the things that I've noticed is that the game, when you mine, you're not mining, blocks. You're mining pixels, and so
Right.
you're it's a lot more. Again, you said pixel art is very very easy in this game.
Mm-hmm.
So people will be able to make pixel art like on the background of their house or their wherever. They'll be able to put some kind of pixel art. I can just imagine the pixel art that's going to happen.
I didn't even think of pixel art until you said that. And now I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's
And it's
cool.
like it's kind of like a paintbrush, when you're building. It's not like you just place blocks. You actually, it's like a paintbrush.
You can check out any of the YouTube videos. There's several on there. When they place items, you'll actually see a brush system come up where you can make walls in one go and floors in one go. I mean, building a base takes a fraction of the time as it does in a lot of the other games.
Yeah, and I think that's because like Terraria likes the fact that they're a building kind of like, you got to work to build your base, but this game's more about adventure and exploring. And
Right.
that's why when people sit there and go, well, it's just Terraria clone. I mean, not only are you guys friends with Terraria, but
We've definitely put more emphasis on gameplay rather than building.
yeah,
We still have a decent element in there for those who like to build, but we want you to play the game. We want you to beat the game, and we want you to then create content that you're willing to share.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So we do got to wrap up here in a couple minutes, but before we go, I wanted to ask, what can you tell us about the future without, spoiling anything? I know you probably can't say a whole lot, but what can you tell us? Like, what can we expect?
What we really want to see, and we need your help, is we need you to vote us on Steam Greenlight. We want to be on Steam Greenlight not for the advertising, but we want it so that when you're playing Asteria, you can just click your friend's name, join the game, and immediately hop in with them.
The functionality.
That's
of
what
Steam.
we want.
Yeah.
We don't want to deal. We don't have anything wrong with the existing system. It serves its purpose. But once we get through Steam, how awesome would it be to come home from a hard day's work? You hop down. Hey, your friends are playing Asteria. You don't need to say, "Can I join? What's the server? How do I get in? Is the room? What are you guys up to?" You just jump in, go find them, harass them, whatever. That is the immediate goal. That's what we'd really, really like. We could use your help. Steam Greenlight, vote us up, help us get on that.
Yes.
Amazing things will happen because once you have that ability, I think more people will come together. We'll see lots of user-created content. It'll be fun.
Right. Now you have a multiplayer server, right?
We have a public multiplayer server. It's built into the game. More often than not, you'll usually find me in there playtesting bugs, finding out what's wrong and whatnot. So I'm in there quite in and out, oftentimes resetting it because somebody decides to make a nuclear bomb and blow the whole world up. So,
Of course.
That's awesome. Okay, yeah.
Okay.
but we have full multiplayer support in the game already. Something that we haven't really tested is we don't have a limit as to how many players can be in the multiplayer. So theoretically, you could have 50 to 100 people in there. The most I've seen at one time is 13, and only 2 people had to leave because of lag.
All right.
Ah.
Cool. Well,
Gotcha.
definitely go check that out. All the links, especially to their Steam Greenlight, things like that, they're going to be in our show notes on everythingnoob.com. And I want to thank Jason for joining us tonight. Thank you for taking
I
the
had a
time.
blast. It was great talking about Lindsay.
There you go.
And we'll see you guys next week with another episode of the Everything New podcast. And watch out Wednesday, a new episode of First Street, our Minecraft Machinima project, will be releasing as well. So thank you once again, and thanks for partaking in Everything Noob during this holiday season. I am stalling so I can find my outro. Here it is. All right. See you, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Everything Noob podcast. Be sure to visit everythingnoob.com for previous episodes, show notes, host bios, and blogs. And while you're there, feel free to write us with any questions, comments, or suggestions you may have. Don't forget to check out the links to our Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch TV channel as well. On behalf of the noobs, see you next week, and happy gaming.